Hello everyone and welcome to another update on Bionic. For those who are not familiar with it, Bionic is an Ionic framework CLI clone that intends to easily deploy Bionic applications on different platforms, like from Electron to iOS, Android, etc. So this week, there's really no major update to Bionic itself. There was an update on the Bionic Capacitor plugin that allows us to deploy Bionic applications or Blazor applications into iOS. In addition to that, I've also been working on a bridge, on a capacitor bridge that allows us to interface Blazor applications with hardware from either iOS or Android in this case, and eventually Electron as well. So let's try to go from 0 to iOS in about 3 minutes. Oh, by the way, before I continue, Bionic is built on the top of Blazor, which is a C#, F# project by Microsoft, runs on the top of WebAssembly, and you should really have a look at it. It's coming along, the community is really stepping up, there's a lot of really good stuff and awesome demos appearing every day, and yeah, I recommend you to go have a look. Also, I want to apologize, I have no documentation whatsoever on this. You can only really see what I have done through the videos on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in this, go watch really the progress of what's been going on and on the updates that I've been doing. But this is starting to get some shape, which is really good, but unfortunately I am yet to have any kind of documentation. So for that, I'm sorry, but I hope to get there soon. So let's try to go to iOS pretty quickly on this. So Bionic, once you have Bionic installed and Blazor and .NET installed, the next thing you need to do is create a Blazor project. So .NET new Blazor show, let's call it demo app, and let's cd into that directory, and let's serve the app. And while this compiles and starts, we're going to go into this directory on another window. All right, so if everything is fine, and I am pretty sure that it will, Blazor is going to be available. And there we go. So that's it. We have an app running. Now let's try to deploy this in iOS. First thing you need to do is so Bionic, when it's installed, has no platforms, so you can really just run it on the web, as you can see. And the only command available is the add, so we're going to do add. And the current platforms available are Capacitor and Electron. So in this case, we're going to go to Capacitor. If you want to see about Electron, go check a previous video on my YouTube channel. So there we go. So now we have platform Capacitor available to us, as you can see down here. So let's go do platform Capacitor, and we need to init. So let's initialize. So, another thing you need to have npm or node. In other words, you should have node.js installed, because Capacitor depends on it in order to download certain dependencies. We can call it demo app. Let's call it demo app. All right. So now we have Capacitor. If you want to know more about the process of what's going on, in other words, go check my previous video about from 0 to Android. And that kind of explains what's going on under the curtains here. So we have Capacitor. Let's add Android. So if you see now, we have Android, capacitor. If I could type, not Android, I'm so sorry. We're going to go to iOS. Okay, so we have iOS ready. Let's open the project in Xcode. And there we go. So with indexing and whatnot, now we're going to run this on iPhone 8 device. It's already giving me some errors, as you can see in here. They're going to show down here. And so Capacitor is generating some of this stuff incorrectly. I'm sure this is a bug that needs to be fixed. So this one should be like that, and I think this one as well. Right, let's run this again. The device is coming up in the back. And there we go. So Capacitor project is now being opened, and oh, so there's the project, but I did not deploy. So iOS build. So now we should have, so this is the default project that comes with Capacitor. If I rebuild and redeploy, I should have what I need. There we go. So that's it. Now, as a side note, iOS still does not support WebAssembly on their web view, which is the window used to render Capacitor, or the Capacitor application in here. The same as Cordova. And because of that, this will probably fail if I keep playing with this. I've seen it failing quite a few times. So it's because it's running on ASM or ASM, not in WebAssembly. And that's it. So this is how fast you can actually come to from 0 to iOS using Bionic, Capacitor, and Blazor all together. All right. Now the other thing that I've been working on is having Bionic or Blazor applications interacting with the device's hardware. And that is being done by something that I call the Bionic bridge for Capacitor, or a capacitor bridge for Bionic. In this case, it's really not Bionic specific. It can work in any other application that you might have for Blazor, and you might want to deploy yourself without having to make use of Bionic. That's fine as well. At least as it is right now. I want to add some services, and that might make it a little bit more specific to Bionic, but at this stage it's not. So let me just open the project right now in code, just so that you can see. This is not yet available. It's going to become a NuGet packet, a NuGet package, or NuGet package. I still don't know how to say that. It's very similar to what Blazor extensions are doing in order to organize their projects for interop between Blazor and JavaScript. And it has a test project, which is a Bionic project as well. And let's just see how that Sometimes I'm very lame with these things. Let's just see how that works. So again, this is just another Bionic project under this directory. And so we want to, I'm going to show this working in both iOS and Android. Let's start with Android because that's where I did most of the testing so far. So Bionic, platform, capacitor, Android build. That's actually correct. That's what I want to do. I want to deploy the current application. Now I'm going to open it. And I only need to open once. But during the development, you want to compile and build kind of thing. So to compile, I would normally do .NET run, .NET build. This will build the app. Eventually, and then Android build. That's it. It's ready. Running the emulator. And as soon as my laptop stops smoking, I might actually be able to do something. All right, so this is capacitor. I'm interfacing through capacitor, so whatever capacitor it has available, that's what I'm currently using. So let me just open the Logcat in here, in Android Studio. And we can clear these, and you'll see that as soon as I log to the console, you can see a log from Blazor. So you can actually just use your C# console write line. That's already converted to also go into the console. I can open a device toast, as you can see down here. Let me do it again because you missed it. I can also interact with the webcam, so, with the camera of the device. So for example, I want to take a picture. This brings up the simulator. Okay, I got it. I can do the typical thing, hang around or whatever, right? And I can do a picture. Oh, there's a zebra over there. Cool, let's take a picture of the zebra. So we'll take a picture of the zebra. Now we select how we want to colorize it. Let's make it black and white, whatever. And there we go. So I took a picture and I incorporated it in my Blazor app. We can also get device information. So for example, this is an Android with whatever, battery level 1, memory usage, whatever. You can also get geolocation, and I can register to get updates. So if you're walking around and you have an application that depends on where you are, this will eventually give me an update of where I am. Let's see again. Receive new position. I should receive a new position again. I don't know how often it is configured, but we'll give you positions over and over again. Can bring the keyboard up. I can also listen to keyboard events. This is actually, I think, kind of broken right now in Capacitor. There's a lot of other functionality, so show, hide, models. Here's an alert model. a confirm model, prompt model, and a show actions model. So I'm good, thanks. All right. I can also open the browser, for example. You can, this one is only for iOS. You can prefetch a URL if you want, in order to speed up, if you know that you're going to open something into a browser. You can register to listen for browser events. It has some not so good storage. I just did some storage. Let me get the data for that storage. As you can see, here's the data. I got a string. This is all just me playing around with this, obviously, and a number and whatnot. We can also share this using the internal API. So I want to copy to the URL, and I can probably just come in here, do a paste, and this is the information that I was sharing through that call. Back to the app, we can show the status bar, or we can hide the status bar. We can change the color, for example, to blue, and we can change the text to dark, and leave it like that. Right. We can show the splash screen, and we can get the current network status. We can receive events for the network. So if I come here and we disconnect, there you go, we see the new network. So now I'm on cellular instead of Wi-Fi. And I'm going to go back to Wi-Fi, and I should receive this as soon as, detects Wi-Fi. So this is actually working. I don't know why I'm not really receiving events right now. But this seems to be an emulated issue, because it does work. So the same thing for iOS. So if I do iOS build, iOS open in this project, and if everything is fine, it should also open this in iOS. So the same thing, I'm logging to the console, I open a toast, take a picture, no camera available, okay, some photos, do I have any photo? Yay, we have a photo, awesome, there we go. Get device information, get the current location, register to receive events, show the keyboard. It doesn't really show. I noticed that before. I don't know why this is really not working, but I think there's no reason really to show keyboard in iOS. Is smart enough not to show. Models, the same kind of models. Open the browser. In this case, you can actually open the browser also as a popover. It will come from the bottom instead of going to a new full screen. Prefetch and whatnot. Set data, the same thing. Get the key values of everything that I've added in the database. This is not a very good database. Hopefully in the future, either me or someone else can add support for SQLite or something like that. You can clear the storage, you can share. Again, the same kind of thing that we saw in Android. Show the status bar, hide the status bar, and we got an error. There we go. So this is typical because we're using ASM, and I've seen quite a few of these coming up. But there you go. It kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in the Bionic world. So let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, please just leave them on my in GitHub, or you can also reach me in Gitter, ASP.NET Blazor channel. And that's it. Have fun and take care.